Hey guys, it's Danielle Baker. It's been a while, but I'm back with some new content and some new videos for you. And this one I think is going to be pretty darn good. I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, I've trained on everything. Like, what am I going to train on? And then I thought, I'm going to tell them 10 things that I've learned over the 5 years I've been here. So that's what this one is going to be about. Hopefully you enjoy it. Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. Thank you for giving me your time, you guys. I know your time is valuable and I appreciate it more than you know. Hopefully I can add some value to your day and give you something that will help you along in your journey, whether, it's with paparazzi or any business endeavor that you're dabbling in, I should say. So for those of you that do not know me, my name is Danielle Baker. I have been an independent consultant with paparazzi for 5 years now. And I actually joined 5 years ago just to buy tires. I did hit the top 0.01% as an elite leader in 13 months and have worked steady throughout the entire time that I've been with paparazzi. I've never taken any time off or, I guess, quit my business, if you will. So, some of the things that I've learned over the last 5 years, I'm going to try to break down a good 10 for you. The very first one I can say is I had to learn, and I encourage you to trust the process. MLM, direct sales, it is not easy. But the process is perfectly written the way that it is. And if you actually put the time in, you sell your jewelry, you reinvest, you talk about the business, you build genuine and honest relationships with people, your team will grow, your sales will grow, and everything will work, but you have to trust the process. And I think so many people just instantly jump in and they're here for a very short amount of time and they don't see that immediate response that they're looking for, what they expected to grow, right? Or they've been watching a top seller that's been around for years and they expect that right when they start. I can tell you when I started, I remember I had like 15 bins and I was so excited. Now, I could have never handled my sales now back then, right? But through trusting the process over 5 years and knowing that I've seen others it worked for and I knew it could work for me too, I had to trust that process and just be patient. Which leads me into number 2. It takes time and it takes dedication. It is not a microwave oven, folks. I'm telling you, you don't just set it for 15 minutes and forget it and then come back and it's piping hot and your sales are just flowing, right? Same goes for when you build your online stores, okay? You can't just build an online store and put it live and just expect sales to flow in. That doesn't happen. If you actually opened a store on Main Street in your town, right? If you open the doors your first month, you wouldn't have lines wrapping around the building, right? People come in, they browse, they shop, then they may buy something, they may not, and then they leave, right? But the dedication and the time that it takes for your business to work, it's not easy. I'm just going to be straight, as transparent as I possibly can with y'all. Because I don't know if anyone's ever told you, oh, building a business is easy. It's not. Is it fun? Absolutely. Do you get tired? For sure, right? But it is worth every single second if you just stay the course. You got to stay the course. So with the dedication and with the time, you're going to hear me throughout this entire training talk about consistency. I'm looking at notes because I'll forget what I'm wanting to say anyway. But you'll hear me talk constantly about consistency. And I'm going to actually dig into consistency so that, you hear a lot of us say that. I want you to understand what my definition or where I'm coming from with consistency is on this, okay? So the dedication that it takes If you work your business, and this is any business that you launch, okay? If you work your business for 10 hours a week, you can expect 10 hours a week of sales. You can expect 10 hours a week of returns. You can expect to be able to buy inventory from sales from 10 hours a week if you're doing business the correct way, right? So is 10 hours a week enough? Absolutely. If you're joining for part-time, just a couple extra bucks, yeah, absolutely. If you are joining because you want to retire and this wants to be your full-time job, there is not an employer out there that's going to let you work 10 hours and pay you for 40. There's not. So therefore, you can't expect that out of your own business. Most entrepreneurs are working 50 to 70 hours a week while they're building their own business, right? I can honestly say at the beginning, I worked full-time as a wedding minister and I worked full-time doing paparazzi. I was exhausted, but I knew that it was worth it. And I knew what I was doing now was going to pay off in 6 months. And I just needed to keep going. I just needed to keep doing what I was doing, which I did. Okay. So dedicate yourself to a certain set schedule, set goals that are attainable and that you know I will reach those things if I continue to do the things that I've set up, the success plan that you've set up. Okay. And, you know, to kind of piggyback off of that, when you start any business, you go into that business with a general business plan, if you will, okay? A successful business has a business plan where you say, my initial investment is going to be XYZ. So no matter what your company is or what your investment is, whether it's a franchise or an MLM or direct sales or whatever, your starter kit, etc., that is your initial investment, okay? So you go into your business and say, for instance, I'm going to spend $499 on the initial investment of my kit, plus I'm going to put an extra $500 into inventory. You know, walking into it, that is your investment, right? So you are not going to take any profits until you've hit that $500 threshold, or you're going to take it, excuse me, just a second. You are going to walk into your business with a general idea. I have a $500 threshold. I am not going to take any profits until I've hit that threshold of my initial investment, right? So you're walking into your business with a set plan of how you're going to begin. Then you're going to decide going forward, I'm going to reinvest this much each month of my sales and I'm going to pay myself back this much, which in our case, in our business, is 45% is your profit. 55% you reinvest. So be dedicated to a plan. If you do not have a plan trying to run a business, you're going to run in circles. I'm telling you. And it is mind-blowing how much I see this, where people show up every day and it's just like doing the same things on Groundhog Day over and over and over. But if you ask someone what their plan is or what are their goals or what are they reaching for, they have no idea. So if you're one of those that has no idea, put on paper what your goals are. What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? What do you want to achieve in 6 months? What do you want to achieve in a year? And then set the plan in place to get there. If you do not know how to make that plan, research, listen to books, ask your uplines, do whatever you need to do, okay? Number 3 is consistency and hard work. That is the core of a business. I have not ever known anyone in my entire adult life that has ever started a business and just opened it up and said, okay, I'll see you next month. Right? They show up immediately and they put in that blood, that thirst, that working just knees to the grindstone. You know, they're just going and going and going. When you start a business, you have to put in consistency and dedication. It is at the core of every single business that is started. If you do not start that way, you're going to have a hard time. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. You have to show up because at the beginning, most of the time you are depending on you. You don't have assistance and anyone to assist you. It's you, right? And if you're building sales, especially, if you do not show up at the same time with the same schedule, your customers do not know when to find you, right? So if my customers don't get an alert, for instance, if I were to go live on Facebook, if they don't get an alert, they still know my schedule and they still come to my page and there I am, right? You have to have set hours. Just the same as if you went and opened a franchise. You couldn't open a franchise and just decide tomorrow you're not going to open the doors, right? There's set hours on those doors. They're published online. They're published everywhere. That is when the business is open. So I ask you, when is your business open consistently? Right? Because if you've been to this point where you've just shown up sometimes here, sometimes there, sometimes on my business page, sometimes on my personal profile, and you're wishy-washy all over the place, you can't get mad at the company. You can't get mad at the process here and say it doesn't work because you haven't shown up consistently for yourself. Your customers are going to show up. You're like their favorite show, you guys. If you were to go and you have your favorite show, like I love The Bachelor, okay? Don't unfriend me. I love The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, okay? That's my thing. I love them. I know when that comes on. I know when to watch it, right? If they just decided next week that they just weren't going to air next week, and then the next week they were going to air it for 10 minutes, and then the next week it didn't come on again. They didn't even tell me anything, right? It's not going to be my favorite show anymore because the entertainment value is gone. The dependency is gone, right? I'm no longer in love with that show because I can't depend on that entertainment to be there. You are their favorite show when you're running a business. But consistency goes a lot further than just sales. It goes talking about your business. It goes invoicing on time. It goes shipping on time, right? It goes ordering jewelry regularly so you have new inventory. No one is going to go shop at a store with the same 10 pieces all the time. And for those of you that say, well, I missed all the new releases so I can't run my business, for the record, you might have missed 2 pieces out of 15 or 20 that dropped. There's plenty of beautiful jewelry in the back office. You're just very mad that you missed 2 pieces. I missed them too. I've been very successful in sales missing pieces for 5 years. Do not get hung up on that. When you joined Paparazzi, you didn't even know that there was new releases and hot pieces. You joined because you needed an opportunity or there was beautiful jewelry. Don't get hung up in that trap. It will sabotage your success. I promise you it will. Go look in the back office, find something that matches something that you have, create sets, and make sure that you sell it that way. You're going to maximize your dollars. So, hard work. If I could tell you the hours that I've put into my business in 5 years, and when I say my business, I also lead a very large team. As of today, I have 320 personally sponsored. So, in leadership as well as sales, it is a lot of hard work. You try to balance both of those by, I use the 80-20. Majority of the time I follow it very well, okay? Where 80% goes to my business, 20% goes to my team. Sometimes it's it's kind of like a marriage. Sometimes it's a little more over here, sometimes it's a little more over here, but 80-20 is a good split to where you're still working your business, yet you also have time for your team. You've got to be a servant leader and show up for them. You are going to recruit and lead who you are. I'm going to say that one again because you probably didn't catch it the first time. You are going to lead and recruit who you are. So if you show up not consistent, if you don't put the hard work into your business, you don't increase your knowledge, you don't grow in the business, someone is searching for a leader, they are not going to look at you and have the confidence that you are going to be the strong leader to lead them. I can tell you, people research leaders. I am researched a lot. And usually the people that join my team are business builders and entrepreneurs that want success. I will help them in any way possible be successful, and I will drive them to the top. But I recruit that type of person because I am that type of person. Okay? I show up consistently. I'm very serious about my business. I'm professional. Try all those things. I promise you. And I've grown so much in this 5 years, you guys. I really have. If you've ever looked back through my growth, I mean, look at my YouTube videos. You could see the growth there. Okay? All right. So the hard work and dedication is definitely a must. Number 4 is you create your success. You. Not your husband, not your brother, not your girlfriend, not your boyfriend, not your kids are in the way, not your upline, not your sponsor. It is you. I have been 5 years in this business and very successful, and my sponsor got kicked out my first month and a half. I reached to YouTube and watched videos. That's how how my channel started, was I made videos because others were like me. Okay? But also I reached up. I looked for the next successful person or elite upline up above me. And if you don't know who that is, you can call support and they'll tell you. Okay? Call Paparazzi Support. I reached up and I found the next elite where I wanted to go. And I latched on. And I trained and I watched and I learned and I did everything possible to work at that amped level, right? Because at the end of the day, I felt sabotaged from the very, very beginning, you guys. Because when I joined, I had sponsors that had 400, 500 viewers on a live. They were very entertaining, right? So I start, and of course, I don't have that kind of viewership as a new consultant. No one does. So I instantly thought, God, I'm terrible. Like, I don't have that kind of viewership. I don't have people showing up for my live. Like, what am I going to do to grow? And it wasn't that. That wasn't realistic. This was, right? So once I started growing and reaching up to other leaders that were successful and watching other leaders that were successful on YouTube and learning, I listen to a ton of Audible books, John Maxwell on leadership. I mean, I could go, I dozens and dozens and dozens. I'm learning every day. And that is what's helped me as a businesswoman and entrepreneur grow. Okay, is learning every single day and reaching up to the next person, because at the end of the day, I'm driving this bus. You are in full control of your success, the direction you go, and what you want to accomplish. Will it take time? Absolutely. Is that realistic? Absolutely. If you hear a cat meowing, my mother-in-law just passed away and we became cat parents. I am so sorry. Okay, so now that part is over, because they are very learning the things here. So, sorry, you guys. Real life. # real life. All right, so number 5 is reaching up and finding leaders where you want to be. What do I mean by that? You have your direction, you know where you want to go. So say you've made a roadmap and you've made a plan. The very first thing I can tell you, at least with our company, and probably any company, to be honest with you, is absolutely learn their compensation plan. If you're with Paparazzi, I have a video on ranks and compensation plan in this channel here. You could definitely, and I'll actually pin it. You can definitely learn so much by a compensation plan. And once you understand the compensation plan, that will explain to you about ranking and commissions and team building commissions and all that stuff, right? So if you're wanting to go to a certain rank, you're going to want to look at people that have already been there, right? So you're wanting to, you're going to, first of all, at the beginning, you're going to look up and you're going to say, I could never get there. That's your belief. If you say, oh, I'm going to get there, I'm going to be an impressionista, I'm going to be an iconic impressionista, and you start watching people that have already done it, what have they done? What kind of business practices do they have? How do they conduct themselves? How are they in the social media realm? Do they do sales weekly? Do they do sales daily? What do they do to team build? What do they do to train? Right? You're looking at people that have already walked successfully, and you're figuring out what they've done, and you're working at that level now. So if you are a director and you're trying to get to premier director, you're not hanging out with other directors, just going to sit around with directors all the time. You, with other directors, are going to go and look at someone that is, ranked much higher than a director and say, okay, well, they were once a director, but what did they do to get to where they are now, right? How do I get there? Insert the compensation plan where you understand what it means. Go watch that video and learn the comp plan. When you learn that, it's going to make so much sense. Okay. And I'm going to kind of caveat, off of something. Actually, no, I'll do a whole nother video. I'm going to do a whole another short video on the differences between sales income and commission, team building commissions. Okay. So watch for that video. So going back, reach up and look at leaders where you want to be. You want to hang out and surround yourself with a successful person that has been there. You want to look and see what they're doing. All of you have elite uplines. Keep looking up and figure out who is next, and who's successful, and then just go do what they're doing. Don't copy them, but, do what they're doing. Work like they're working. Do the things that they're doing. Okay? And number 6 was work like you're already there. So we have already nipped that one in the bud. If you're showing up giving the same results that got you to director or premier director, you can't expect to get to your next level, which is executive director with our company, with the same team giving the same results. What I mean by that is if you are not personally recruiting every single month, not your team should be too, but you're in control of you, right? Your team is going to do what you are doing. If you are not personally recruiting every single month, you are going to have 50% of your people fall off, right? Because this isn't for everyone. Everyone is not willing to give the time and the effort into this. People quit when it gets hard. Let's just keep it real. A lot of people quit when it gets hard. So when that happens, if you're still recruiting consistently and you're growing all the time, your organization's changing, right? So to get to that next level, you have to work with a different mindset. You have to keep growing. You have to keep building your team. You have to keep building your sales. You have to keep leading your team. You have to keep training, okay? If you want to get to the next level, you're going to have to give 10 times more than what you're giving right now, okay? That got you there. And you're going to have a whole new team to get you to the next level because your team's constantly growing and changing. All right. So number 7 is give yourself grace. And this one is a really, really important one to me because like I just said, earlier in this video, we just lost my mother-in-law, which was very much like my mother. I spent 15 years with her. And up until that point, I've had some challenges in my paparazzi journey, but never one time have I ever had to reach out to my leaders and say, I need you to step in because I have to step out. I have to go care for someone in hospice, and I have to be okay with stepping away from my sales and stepping away from my team to go do life right now. And I beat myself up a lot about that because I'm such a workhorse, right? But sometimes if you kind of fall backwards, and I've definitely fallen backwards in my journey. I mean, I'm a big no excuses girl, but let's just keep it real. There are so many times, and a lot of you might be right now, right what I'm saying right now. There are going to be times where you lose your joy. There are going to be times where you forget what you did the first time to get there. There are going to be times where you feel deflated. You feel defeated. You don't know what to do next. You're losing the joy, and you're just at a dead end. I've been there several times. The important thing is, when you get there, you need to acknowledge that you're there, and you need to get yourself out of it as fast as you got there. Right? You have to give yourself grace that it's okay that you fell backwards a little bit, but you have to get back up. You have to rebuild. You have to grow. You have to continue doing what you're doing because you are in control, right? You can't control what people say about you. You can't control what people think about you. You can't control whether someone is happy or whether someone is a very miserable person. If someone is a very miserable person, they're out to damage everyone in their path anyway, right? Has nothing to do with you. Give yourself grace. Get back up. Get back on the train and start rolling. But you know what? Don't just get defeated and just give up and say, I don't even know what to do. I don't know where to go. Reach up. Talk to someone. But get back on the train and roll. Because I'm telling you, giving up is just going to put you right back in a position where you were when you got here. If you trust the process and you keep going, get over that hump, which I promise you I've had them. I've been in situations where I got to convention 2 years ago, and I remember telling my husband, I don't even want to be here. I'm not even excited to be here. And he said, Danielle, I want you to figure out while you're here what it is that took your excitement away. And in my case, I'm huge on relationships. And the technology that I'd put into my business to help me was actually hurting me because the relationships weren't there as much with all that technology in place. So I had to come back and fix it. And then the joy returned. Okay? So figure out what is stealing your joy and go find it again. Because I promise you, it's there. All right? So give yourself some grace. It's okay to get burnt out. And we just talked about this a little bit. The important thing is getting back up. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to get tired. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to get emotionally overwhelmed through life. You're going to have situations that absolutely destroy your soul, right? You may have people that try to, hurt you. Bottom line is you are in control of how you react. You're in control of what you let people give to you or what you receive. And you're in control of where you go next. Stop and think about that. No human being can make you feel a certain way. It's impossible for another human to handle your body or your feelings. It's impossible for another human also to steer your course to success or to not. Get back up and just keep moving. You will fall down. It's okay. I'm telling you, it's okay when you do fall down. Get back up and start over. Okay? I've had to do it. Many people I know have had to do it. At the end of the day, when they paint that perfect picture on social media that everything's perfect in the world, there's not a person that has a perfect life. So all of us, at one time or another, struggled. Whether it's sickness, whether it's sorrow, whatever, addictions, whatever the case, we got back up and we moved on. We rebuilt. Okay? So you've got to know it's okay to get burnt out, but you also have to get back up because no one's coming to save you. This is one thing I've learned. You might have some hard times in life, but no one's coming to save you. Okay? All right. So the next thing that I'm going to say is success is possible. And I say that because I see so many people that say, well, only the people that got in at the beginning make the money, or only the people at the top make the money, or it's not possible to make money doing that. And I just laugh because 5 years later, I've sold multiple six figures. I've almost sold $1 million worth of jewelry in 5 years. I'm proud of that, right? I've grown my team to a huge amount. I'm proud of that. So at the end of the day, you can't tell me, someone that has dug in and given the effort and stayed the course and trusted the process and worked the hours and learned daily and grown as a woman, you can't tell me that it's not possible. I am an average girl that did not even wear jewelry, that was a wedding minister, that had never done direct sales, never been a part of an MLM, but I had drive and dedication. And I don't quit. So is success possible? Absolutely. Can you make money without building a team? Absolutely. I just told you how much I've sold. I sell a lot, but I work hard to do it. Okay? If you tell me that you can't sell the jewelry, I'm going to go look at your page to see how you're working your business. It will sell and you can build. You just have to take time to do it. Okay? So it's okay to get burnt out and success is possible. And number 10 is stay the course and keep your blinders on. This is the biggest thing that I learned in 10 years is I am competing against Danielle. I am not competing against anyone else. I'm not competing against someone that has made it faster than me, that has made it higher than me, that has recruited more than me, that has sold more than me, that has hit Crown Club level higher than me, that has hit a life of the party. I'm not competing against them. And when you start looking at others like that, jealousy will get into your heart, which is going to rob you, first of all. Clap for them. Appreciate them and praise them because you want to be there, right? Don't sabotage yourself by comparing yourself to others and saying, well, so-and-so did this and I didn't do this. You're competing against you. My ultimate goal monthly is to beat my best. So if I recruited 3 last month, because that's always my minimum, if I recruited 3 last month, my goal is to recruit 4 or more this month. If I recruited 7 last month, my goal is to recruit 8 or more this month. Do you see what I'm saying? If I sold $21,000 last month, I need to beat it. So if you're constantly trying to beat your best, you're so busy trying to beat your best that you're not worried about what someone else is doing. It's impossible to run a full race when you're running and you're looking behind you. You're going to fall down. You're going to knock into something. You have to keep looking in front of you while you're running. You can't worry about what's behind you. Okay? You worry when they're passing you. Then you see them. So keep running your race, you guys. Stay the course. Get dedicated again if you've fallen down. Give yourself grace and know that it's okay. And know that it is possible. Success 100% is possible. You all can do this. It's going to take a lot of growth. It's going to take a lot of dedication, a lot of perseverance, a lot of consistency. But it is absolutely worth it. All right, guys. Hopefully you took some value from this. I enjoy spending time with you, and I hope you took some value. Have a blessed night, and know that you matter and you're important. Bye, y'all.